My brother, yo, like
What's
shit.
going on, y'all? It's your boy June Archer here at the Winner's Circle on ThisIs50.com. My guest today, producer extraordinaire, musician extraordinaire, an amazing young man who inspires young musicians and those who are interested in the music business. Welcome to the show, producer Amadeus.
Man, what an amazing intro.
Listen.
I didn't expect anything less.
Listen. We were just talking off camera. We
Yes,
go
sir.
back some, probably, I would say it's close to between 15 and 20 years now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When the careers were just ripe for the picking and we were on the trend.
Yes, sir.
And we're still trending.
Absolutely.
Just in a lot more different ways and in more avenues as we've learned to grow. For those who don't know who Amadeus, the producer, is,
Okay.
I want to go through the history in the resume right now. I want to go through the discography just to teach y'all, educate y'all some of the works that this young man has been doing. I want to talk about Dipset. I want to talk about Remy Ma. I want
Yes,
to talk
sir.
about the Chris Browns. I want to talk about this Jay. I mean, I'm doing a disservice. I'm trying to think of all the hot ones, but I want you to educate them on artists that you work with. And we ain't got to talk about the ones that ain't gonna go to platinum.
Right, just
let's
a
talk
list.
about the going to platinum because those are the ones that probably gonna know right off the bat.
Man, I used to save time by saying, okay, I produced for 90 artists, right?
Right.
Let's see how many I can remember. JLO,
Yes.
50,
Yes.
G Unit, Dipset, Remy, Papoose, Chris Brown, Trey Songz, CeeLo Green, Tyga, Fab, ESPN. I do a lot of scoring. ESPN. I produced the First Take theme song for the last 4 or 5 years. Sprite, BT, MTV, TRL, Marcus Houston. I'm gonna go back a little bit. Marcus Houston, Foxy Brown, Busta Rhymes.
It's a long list.
So
of hitters.
many, man.
It's a long list of hitters.
The Game. I'm trying to look. The Game. Paul Wall, Mike Jones.
Do you hear
Yeah.
the artists? We're talking about some who are still relevant and some who
Right.
you probably never hear ever again. However, he's put in the work.
Yes, sir.
And why I wanted you to share that piece of history is not only were you a producer, but you're a musician.
Absolutely.
And you were able to transition, or I shouldn't say transition because you were always doing both. But
I know what you
actually,
mean,
I
yeah.
want to talk about the transition because you're a PK. You grew up in the church.
Yes, sir.
And for those who are in the church and of the church, know that sometimes they kind of discredit you and they kind of shun you because you want to do worldly music.
Right.
But you come from a place, because one year I had the privilege of going back to your church in the BX and seeing the love that they have for you.
Yes, sir.
The church community had the love for you. How was it that you got that support and what you did with it to become who you are today?
Right. That's an amazing question. See, the honest truth is, I didn't really get support in this area because, as you said, it was definitely frowned upon. Me being in church, me being a church musician, to create hip hop music, R&B music, secular music, which is what they called it because of, the content, because of what was said, the sex, the drugs, the alcohol, the party, and the promiscuous, and all of the things that it entailed. It kind of was against what we were being taught spiritually.
Correct.
So I would always try to share, like, I'm the producer, I'm the musician, I'm behind the scenes, I'm not the, person saying those lyrics,
Right.
using
I'm
the
not
profanity.
that guy. Yeah.
I'm not saying anything. It's the music, but the fact that it was the association of the music that I was creating along with the lyrical content, was frowned upon. So it was very challenging, honestly. I know what it is that I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a musician in the world. I wanted to tour. I wanted to hit Madison Square Garden, which is down the street. I wanted to, perform at Barclay wasn't even here, like where Staples Center, where the Lakers play, and I wanted to hear the roar of hundreds and thousands of people. You know what I'm saying? There's a different roar in church versus being in a venue.
There's a rush to it.
Yeah, it's
There's a rush.
different,
There's a
man.
feeling that
In church, we're praising God. we're giving thanks.
And it's an amazing feeling.
Absolutely, you know what I'm saying? But when you're in that arena, it's just a different dynamic. It's a different setting. It's more so of people appreciating what you're doing, the sounds that you're making as an artist, the performing, the band, the groove, the cuts, the transitions. It's like hearing 60,000 people screaming.
Right.
You know, based off of what you're doing on stage is one of the most amazing feelings in the world. And not to take any credit, any of God's credit, because at the end of the day, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. He gave us this talent, and I'm sure, you know, he's proud of us that we're using our talent the way we're using it, and that because music is worldwide, man. I didn't know that.
Right.
Being, you know, a little young king from the Bronx, man, you just know about the Bronx, you know about your hood. But when you start traveling and you bless the total world, and you in Japan, and you in Africa, and you in Australia, and they're singing music that you created for me in my living room, it's like, wow.
How many countries have you been to date?
I would say 1, 2, maybe about 4 or 5.
I want to talk about how you were able to travel. Is one, not just being a producer, but being a drummer.
Yes, sir.
And you drum for the likes of a lot of people, but one of the main people that people may know you from and make note of is Trey Songz.
Yes, sir.
Who's an amazing recording
Absolutely.
artist. He's been doing his thing. Shout out to Troy Taylor too.
Yes, sir. Man, the GOAT.
Big bro. But how was that experience, and how is that experience since working with Trey Songz?
Amazing. And let me just share with you and the viewers on how it came together. We were in the studio working on a record. Myself, Trey Songz, Mike Jones. There was a drum set in the corner. And I just kind of threw out there like, yo, man, I play drums. Both Trey and Mike laughed. They don't play no drums. I was like, bro, how you think I'm making beats? Like drums, tracks, beats has everything to do with rhythm. You know what I'm saying? So I'm playing drums, man. So we laughed it off. And in that moment, I said, let's get back to the record. It's cool. I told Trey, looked him in his eyes, said, listen, the first album out, braids in his hair. I said, you're going to need a band. The music you're making, very soulful, heartfelt, that real R&B, you're going to need a band behind you, bro. When you do, call me, right? That's it. Went back to making the song.
Planted the seed.
Planted the seed. Not even knowing. A year later, you know Delonte Murphy called me and said,
shout out to Delonte. What up,
shout out to D. Called me and said, yo, you ready to put the band together? A year later. And I was like, nope. He was like, well, you told Trey when he's gonna need a band, and that whenever he's gonna need a band, you was gonna put it together. And Trey is an individual where if you say something,
he gonna hold you.
He's gonna hold you to it. Now, mind you, I've never put no band together. All I've done was play drums in the church. So I don't know nothing about orchestrating the band, putting it together, running it, nothing. And he's like, well, Trey don't know either, so y'all can figure it out together. Called my guys up from church. It's like, yo, y'all wanna go on tour? They was like, all right. Made Pastor pissed. But mind you, like she was upset with me for years. I had to sit down with her and apologize. Because in my mind, I'm saying, I'm gonna call my guys.
Right.
Why would I call somebody from the outside and go eat and create an opportunity with someone I don't know? Well, I'm calling my guys. I've been playing with y'all all my life. I know y'all like the back of my hand. Cool. You know, they wanted the same experience. Exactly. Ain't nobody say no.
No, everybody packed up.
We was like, but yo, we didn't know that it was gonna be. We had no idea. We got the call and say, you ready to put the band together? And I'm like, no. And they was like, no, you're gonna put the band together. Boom. So I took the job, right? We were preparing for one show, and you know what the show was. We were preparing for R&B Spotlight.
Wow, yes.
In the city.
Right here.
Right?
Midtown.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We had a show at R&B Spotlight. His new album was coming out, and we had that one show. Right.
I was there.
That's it. So I'm not thinking about touring. I'm not thinking about none of that. I'm like, all right, cool. Next thing you know, we on tour. We open up for Jay-Z on Blueprint 3 tour. Now we opening up for Usher on the OMG tour. Now we open up for this, and now we got our own tour. Now El Varner and Miguel is opening up for us. Now Big Sean is opening up for us on the Anticipation tour. Him and his record with him and Chris Brown. He opened up for us. So crazy. We didn't know that one seed. And bro, that was 12 years ago. So I've been touring with Trey for 12 years.
You're a big advocate for music education.
Yes, sir.
We know that they've taken the funds necessary out of schools to teach kids about music, even music programming. A couple years ago, you teamed up with Microsoft. It was an amazing opportunity for kids to come and learn, going into Microsoft locations, going into high schools. Why did you find it important to pour into these young people, and how important is it for young people to learn an instrument?
Right. I just felt like back when we were coming up, no one really sat me down and say, hey, do this, do this, do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. It was more so of us figuring it out and bumping our heads and being robbed and being treated unfairly and learning the hard way. And I'm like, well, why as an adult, why as someone that's become successful in the business, why would I allow people that are following, in my path or in their own paths, honestly, allow them to go through the same thing we went through, when I can say, hey, I'm gonna put together this platform, I'm gonna teach you the business side of things, I'm gonna teach you the ins and outs, all that I know, I'm gonna give it to you. Why not be a blessing to others? And that's kind of what the vision was, is just to empower them and teach them music business, right? But then also, excuse me, show them all of the different areas of music.
Right.
Everybody, you think of the limelight, the lights, the cameras, the sitting behind the camera, but there's so many people that function in the business that you have no idea of, that's getting to the bag, that can live a comfortable life, that nobody knows who they are.
Sell one record.
And they got to sell nothing, and they get into it. You know what I'm saying? The engineers, the sound engineers, assistants, A&Rs, managers, like barbers, like stylists, publicists, all these different, and then I'm like, wow, I didn't know I could do this. I didn't know I could do that. And it's like, yeah, you ain't got to just be a rapper or artist, right, producer or creative person. You can be behind the scenes. There's a lot of people that make 50 work. There's a lot of people that make Trey Songz work. Right. There's a lot of people that make Chris Brown. It's teams.
But they don't get the education, because what I found is, for me growing up, my guidance counselor failed me, right? Because I didn't know anything about communications and mass media until someone gave me the opportunity to go to their college and do a tour.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I can, like, this is what I love, because I want to get a record deal. Like,
Right.
that was my whole focus.
Right.
But what I've come to learn is, if you like music and you like numbers, you can be an accountant. If you like to draw and you like music, you could be a graphic design artist. If you like to babysit and you like music, you could be a manager.
Right.
It's really that simple. So if whatever you love doing,
there's something in here for you.
Put music with it, there is a job and a career
to
be had.
Absolutely.
So I commend you for
Thank
even
you,
having
man.
the opportunity to have Microsoft sit down at the table to even consider it, because our young people are not getting the proper education and the proper footing to say, hey, this is what you can do.
Absolutely.
To make your dreams come true and really have a career. And
Absolutely.
Like you said, you don't have to sing a lick. You don't have to play a lick. You ain't got to get on stage and dance.
Everybody has their own individual God-given gifts and talents. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't even got to be sitting over there, man, like, damn, I wish I could rap like so-and-so. I wish I could make beats like so-and-so. It's like, you looking at me, in awe, looking at us and all, like, oh, y'all can do this. But at the same time, we're turning around looking at the viewers or the people that are out there and all. Because something you can do, I can't do. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just about tapping into your own talent, knowing what you have, what you're capable of doing, and just executing, man. And not trying to be someone else, be like someone else, or compare your life and your journey to someone else's journey that's based off of television or entertainment.
How's the journey been for you thus far?
Long. I'm 18 years in, man. 18 years in. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears. People often look at us and, man, I want to be them. I want to be where they are. And it's like, man, we can honestly sit here and say we don't look like what we've been through.
No.
So
how hard is it to be consistent?
Very. It's a lot of competition. Not that we focus on competition, but it is what it is. It's just like, when LeBron suits up, man, you got to deal with the Knicks, you got to deal with Brooklyn, you got to deal with Golden State, you can act like
everybody shooting for number one.
Everybody shooting for number one. So you don't have to necessarily go after competition, but you have to acknowledge the competition, that it exists. I love it, man. I love music. I'm most passionate about music. When I started it was just something I love to do. I didn't know that I can turn it into a career. I didn't know I can take care and provide for my family and myself. I just love music. So I went into it like just as a passion. And I still have this passion still to this day. And I feel like that's what sustains me. That's what keeps me going. That's what motivates me, because the business can be a little weird. It can be very political. It can be very fake and phony. But you just have to be able to keep pushing. And I think my relationship with God is what sustains me. My relationship with God is what sustains me. My relationship with my brothers as yourself, who I've known for a long time, that if I need you, we don't speak every day. You know what I'm saying? It might have been a long time, but I know you're there, and vice versa. So that's very important. And I don't think we really talk about that. Oftentimes, people sit behind this camera and they're not really 100 and they're not really transparent and showing the other side.
Right.
You know, where
Pride of
it's
ego gets in the
tough,
way.
it's dark, it's lonely, it's you doubt yourself. You say, am I as good as, or
Right.
do I still have it? You know what I'm
It
saying?
also puts a strain on families.
Oh,
as
big
well.
time, big time.
We have families, we have children, and that alone, if you're not built for this, people like they look at the glitz and the glam.
Yeah.
For you, what is the best piece of advice you could give somebody that's watching, listening today, who are interested in music as a career or music business as a career?
Right. The first thing I would do is ask them a question, and that question is, do you love this? Like, do you love music? Do you love music? Do you love business? And because I think that's what's most important first. Do you love it? Because that's the only thing, like I said, that's allowed us to stay in it, is because we love it.
Right.
You know, so all of the negativity that surrounds it, it's like we can kind of fend that off because we're so passionate about music in general in the business. So that's the first thing I would ask. The second thing I would say is go into this being you. Go into this being your true, authentic self. Go into it not allowing things and people and politics and negativity to change you and change who you are as an individual. I feel like one of the reasons, besides the talent and besides making good product, which is music, that's cool because anybody can do that. You know what I'm saying? But me being humble, me being a person that have created relationships as of this and have maintained that. Because like you said, you told us stories off camera, and the people that you mentioned were some of the same people that are still in the business, that are still in position, maybe at a different label, maybe at a different circumstance, but still in power and still doing their thing.
Right.
So it's not so much of people exiting, it's like you just move around a little bit.
Musical chairs.
You know what I mean? So relationships are key. And for me as a musician, as a producer, I've always created what I loved. I always create what I felt in that moment. I never followed trends. I never, to some extent you follow sounds because sound evolves.
Right.
But with following sounds, I still kept it me. You know, so if, like for instance, me working with Paul Wall and Mike Jones, and then working with Game, and working with T.I. I'm from the Bronx. So in order to be able to work with those type of artists, you have to be able to evolve and be able to create different styles and sounds, which I was able to do. So just be you, man. When you think of Amadeus, right? When you say Amadeus, you may know me, you may not. If you dig, you'll be like, oh man, I didn't know he did this, I didn't know he did that, I didn't know he did this, right? But when you say like a Murder Beats, you say like a Mustard, you know them immediately, right? And that's because they not a lot of hit records, not of records that are in the clubs. Right. My records are more so of heartfelt. Y'all was going through this, and I wrote that. Right. Mike Jones, you know, his grandma passed, he wrote that record. Jim Jones, My Diary. Like, look at the titles.
The meat and potatoes.
You know what I'm saying? Chris Brown, Yellow Tape. You know, like it ain't Wobble, it ain't, you know, Guidance, but it's Yellow Tape. He's talking about police brutality. He's talking about dealing with having to go to jail. He's talking about, you know, alcohol. He's talking about the women, like real talk. So these records, for me, will be able to live on forever because someone can always relate to that. You understand? Versus something that just makes you feel good in the club. Because at the end of the day, when you leave the club, reality hits.
Right.
It's real life. Now you ain't popping bottles 24/7. You know, you ain't smoking hookah, you smoking weed 24/7. Reality hits. So, you know, and shouts out to every producer that's rocking, that's on fire. Where you say their name, oh, I know them.
Right.
My thing is, see me in another 18 years.
Right.
Because I've seen a lot of people come and go that had the biggest records, the #1 this and #1 that, and it's cool. I just want to make music that I love. I want to make music that connects with people all around the world, no matter skin, no matter your color, no matter your journey, no matter your ethnicity. I just want to be known for a person. Oh, Amadeus made that record that connects here. I cry listening to that record that Fifth made. You know what I'm saying? I cry listening to that. I want that.
Before we get out of here, no disrespect to Trey or Breezy. Chris Brown, you know I love you, little bro. Taking those two off the table.
Okay.
Top 5 artists that you've produced records with.
Taking them out of the equation.
Taking them out of the equation. Your top 5 that you love. And this is not a slight to anybody, just at this moment, because it might change next week.
Right.
Breezy, I love you, dude. This is the
Yeah, it's just very difficult. Removing him and Trey is very difficult. Man.
See, I tried to make it easy for you because I'm taking those two off the table.
Right. Because they definitely is going to be on. They definitely going to be on. That, so I only had to choose 3. Man. Shoo. I'll say JLO.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you why real quick. Because JLO was very hands-on.
Okay.
Like called me herself. I was like, what? She's like, hey, I speak to Amadeus. Amadeus. Hey, it's Jennifer. Jennifer who? Jennifer Lopez. It's like, bang the phone on her and everything. Call me back in tears, like, nah, this is for real. This is me. Like, I'm not. I want to tell you what I want for the song. I want you to add this. I want you to add that. Like, I gotta say her. So JLo, Lil Mo.
What up, Mo?
Lil Mo, one of the illest singers. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mo
Wow. One of the illest singers and pens to ever touch a pad. One of the ones that gave me my first start. Back when I first started, and we got some new music that's actually coming now. I think I DM'd her one day and was like, "What are we doing?" Like I had a moment where like I owe you. She's like, "No, you don't." I said, "No, yeah, I do. I owe you. I owe you." So we got an amazing record on the way right now. So Mo, JLo, damn, you removed Chris and
Fab.
Trey.
You gotta put Fab on it.
I was thinking that too.
Gotta put Fab.
I was thinking that too. Fab.
Two more.
Buster. Because Buster was one of the ones when I first started. I said, yo, I gotta work with Busta Rhymes. I wanna work with Busta Rhymes. And when that happened, like that was epic. And again, not saying it because I'm here. I never forget the moment where they told me, yo, you got a record with 50. It's called It Is What It Is. And it's on a 2050 mixtape. I never forget that call. So I gotta say 50.
There it is. It's your boy June Archer, the Winner Circle. My man, producer extraordinaire.
Man.
Drummer from the BX. Amadeus. Keep it locked right here. Listen, if you got any questions, you want to know anything else about the music business, we're gonna touch on that in the coming year. So keep it locked right here. It's your boy June Archer. Peace.